Hey there. So today is going to be all about recording. I've had a song bouncing around in my head for 2 or 3 weeks now. I think I finally got the lyrics down, and I think I probably have the right arrangement and bridge and so forth, and I think I'm ready to lay it down. So today I'm going to record a song in 6 hours, and I'm going to document it so that you guys can walk through the process with me and see how it's done. The song is called Hard Road. Got the lyrics right here, my trusty lyric book. And so I guess we're going to go ahead and get started here. Let's go ahead and fire up Pro Tools. All right, the first thing you're going to do is get yourself a click. Set that up so it's comfortable with the music and comfortable with what you're starting out on. I think I have that now, so let's give it a shot and see how it sounds. Sounds good. Let's get started. Okay, so I have my acoustic guitar track down now. It's all to click. It is not perfect. So if that part bothers me when I get further along in the process, I'll go back and clean it up and overdub. I think this is actually paramount to doing quick recordings, like a recording in a day by yourself. You can spend a lot of time trying to be perfect. At the end of the day, that usually ends up sounding pretty sterile. Most listeners are not listening to that. They're listening to feel. The types of things you do want to re-record, if it turns out you have them, is if you miss a change, if you're slow going into a change, like a failure in the middle of a riff, you're fretting a chord, it frets out and it sounds clunky or something. And I'll be laying so much other stuff on top of it. Once I get through the intro, no one's going to care. So let's take a look here and see how it sounds real quick, and then we'll move on to the next phase. All right, so next up we're going to do drums. And there's a very specific reason for the drums being first before any of the other parts. Now in the past, I've done the drums last, after doing bass and after doing rhythm guitars and even sometimes lead guitars. And what always ends up happening is there's just a very small, weird feel to it, and you can tell. And the reason why is because when you play the drums first as a foundation that everything else can sit on, then the timing of everything else that falls on top of it is going to go along with those drums, and the swing and the feel is going to be correct. It's most important for the bass because the bass is the bridge between the rhythm section and the lead section. And so it has a bit of tonality, obviously like a guitar, but it also has a very rhythmic sort of feel. And that feel has to go along with the bass drum. And if the bass drum's not there, it's hard. And to figure out how to put the bass drum to a bass line after the fact is even more difficult. We are using the Glyn Johns technique to mic the drums today. There is one overhead here, condenser. There is a condenser over here behind me. Both of them are M5 Rode match pair. SE V-kick on the bass drum. V-beat SE snare mic here with a clip-on. Okay. That took a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. I think I got a take that's good. Threw a little bit of compression on there. There is no reverb. Let's take a quick listen. So next up is bass. Alrighty, I'm all set up here with my bass. This is a P bass. It's American Performer, I believe, and it is the one that has both the jazz and P bass pickups with the grease bucket circuit, which is pretty nice because it means I can get both tones. And I'm going through a Retrospect juice box, which is right here. Let's see if I can show you what that looks like. It's that crazy looking white box right there. That is a Tube DI. I am now gonna lay down some tracks and see what I can get done. Okay, so I have now finished laying down the bass. Took me a little bit of time, and I'm not gonna lie, I did not get a take all the way through that I was happy with, so I did a couple punch-ins. So let's take a quick listen. All right, so you can sort of get a sense of what I did there. The tricky bit now, the next part that's going to be hard, is I could lay down electric guitars, which will take a little bit of setup, not a problem. But if I do electric guitars now, it will be deciding where the electric guitars go without hearing where the vocals are sitting in the current recording. If I do the vocals first and then I do the guitars after, I end up maybe not having dynamics enough in the vocals because they don't know where the loud parts are due to the electric guitars that get added. So I think I'm going to try vocals first. So that'll be the next set. So as promised, this is my vocal setup. KSM 27 Shure, pop shield, regular old mic stand. Going to do a little close miking, little compressor, deverb, and that's how I'm going to get the vocal. Okay, so I just laid the vocal track down and it came out pretty good. So let's take a listen to what we got so far. Okay, so there you go. And next up, I'm going to plug in some guitars and we'll lay a little bit of icing on this thing and wrap it up. So we got to go handheld on this one because there's just too much to show. So let me give this a shot. So as you can see here, I got my Pro Tools set up and I am running a cord here to my 65 amps color boost, which is a nice Dallas Rangemaster clone, and we're going to roll it on out here to the amp, which is my Vox AC15 2x12 with a Royer R10, and you can see right there there's just a little bit of camber on it to give the best ribbon placement. Going in the normal input because top boost is a little too toppy. So as you can tell, we're getting near the end of the day here. I started at 11 and we're rolling right up around 6 o'clock, which is getting a little bit over where we were supposed to be for 6 hours. But in my defense, my parents came over and wanted to socially distance with us outside for like an hour and a half. So I kind of lost an hour and a half of recording time, so no fair. But anyway, we're just about done. I just finished up the guitars, and I figured I'd give you a little chance to hear what it sounds like. And then I'm pretty much there. I think we got the whole song in the can. There's a rough mix on it, and yeah, we did a song in 6 hours, give or take. So let's take a listen. It's a hard road. It's hard to accept that the reason you left is not another love. And the feeling of doubt when the love just runs out like so many times before. I used to be the best. All right, there you go. Song in 6 hours. All in home studio. Full stack musician. Thanks.